It was just past 2 a.m. when my phone buzzed. Groggy from sleep, I squinted at the screen, expecting a routine notification. Instead, it was her, my wife, Hannah. The message was brief, casual, almost dismissive. Lost track of time. Be home soon. Lost track of time? At 2 a.m.? That immediately set off every alarm bell in my mind. I knew Hannah's schedule. She had no reason to be out at this hour unless she was visiting a friend, working late, or, well, something she shouldn't be. The casual tone of her text only made it worse. No sorry, no explanation, no sense of urgency. Just that line. I stared at the message for a long moment, then slowly typed a reply. I chose my words carefully, precise, almost surgical. If you're not home in 10 minutes, I'm going to check where you really are. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. The minutes dragged on like hours. My mind raced, envisioning every worst-case scenario. Was she at a friend's house? Drinking with someone she shouldn't be? Was she even safe? The 10-minute mark passed slowly, torturously, and my heart pounded. Then my door creaked. I looked up and froze. There she was, standing in the doorway, disheveled, flushed, panic in her eyes. Her usual calm demeanor was gone. She clutched her purse like it was a lifeline, her hair slightly messy as if she had run through the streets. Hannah, I began, my voice calm but edged with a tension I didn't bother hiding. I'm sorry, she stammered, taking a cautious step inside. I didn't mean. I held up a hand, stopping her mid-sentence. My expression was neutral, almost cold, but my eyes bore into her. You texted me at 2 a.m. and said you lost track of time. Care to explain? She swallowed hard, eyes darting, searching for some escape. I went out with Lisa. Just dinner. I lost track of time talking. Dinner? At this hour? I asked, voice low, carefully controlled. Her lips pressed together. We stayed late, it just got late. I nodded slowly, making no move to hug her, comfort her, or excuse her. I see. And you thought sending me a vague message at 2 a.m. would be sufficient? She looked down, shame and fear flickering across her face. I didn't think. You didn't think, I repeated softly, letting the words hang in the air, heavy with meaning. Hannah, you know how I feel about honesty. You know that I trust you. And yet you send a text that's misleading, at best. Do you have any idea how that feels? Her shoulders slumped. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. I walked past her, making my way to the living room, the lights casting shadows on the walls. You should have considered how it would feel if the roles were reversed. You should have considered that words have weight, even in a text. And you should have come home without needing to be chased. She followed me, silent, guilt weighing heavily in her steps. I could feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating, yet strangely satisfying. My reply had done exactly what I intended. It made her confront the consequences of her carelessness, her lack of foresight, her casual disregard for the trust between us. Finally, I turned to face her, letting my expression soften just enough to be human, just enough to remind her that I wasn't angry at her as a person, but at the actions she chose. Do you understand why I said what I did? Why I had to make sure you knew I wasn't going to ignore vague excuses at this hour? Her eyes filled with tears. Yes, I understand. I panicked when I got home. I didn't expect your reply to make me feel so guilty. I nodded, feeling the tension in my chest ease slightly. Good. That's the point. You should feel the weight of your choices. Not in anger, not in punishment, but in understanding. That's how we avoid mistakes like this in the future. She moved closer, hesitating, unsure whether to reach for me or retreat further. I stayed still, letting her make the choice. Finally, she took a deep breath and stepped into my space, a tentative hand brushing mine. I promise, she whispered. No more late-night excuses. No more vague texts. I'll be honest next time. I understand now. I gave a slow, almost imperceptible nod. That was enough. I didn't hug her. I didn't say anything further. Words weren't needed. The panic I had instilled, the fear she had felt at my carefully measured reply, it had done what a lecture never could. She had learned. We sat together in silence for a while, the quiet of the living room heavy but not oppressive. Outside, the city hummed, oblivious to the small drama unfolding in the apartment. Inside, the lesson had been learned. Trust had been reaffirmed, not through confrontation, not through anger, but through the subtle power of careful words, timing, and consequence. By the time she finally moved toward the bedroom, I could see the relief mixed with lingering anxiety in her expression. She had rushed home in panic because she realized that honesty, or the lack of it, has consequences, and I had made sure she felt the urgency of that lesson. I watched her disappear into the bedroom, the weight of the night settling quietly around me. My phone buzzed again, but this time it was a work notification, irrelevant and unimportant. I set it aside, knowing that the real lesson had been delivered, received, and understood. Sometimes, words have power beyond anger or confrontation. Sometimes, the right reply, at the right time, can teach more than any lecture or argument. Tonight had been one of those times. And as I finally sank into bed, I felt a calm satisfaction. Hannah would think twice before a casual text at 2 a.m. again. And that, I realized with a quiet smile, was worth every second of tension, panic, and carefully chosen words.